Pastor Omar here in the missions office. I'm actually sitting in my office in my favorite chair. This is my quiet time chair. The Lord and I spend a lot of time together as I sit in this chair here. This morning I was reading in John's Gospel, chapter 14 in particular, one of my favorite chapters. The chapter begins with this admonition from Jesus to his disciples. He says, "Let not your heart be troubled." And he uses a word there that pictures an ocean caught in the teeth of a storm. That's quite a picture. Storms have a way of ripping us to shreds, of just tearing our confidence apart and leaving us feeling helpless, bloodied, and bruised. But Jesus said, "Let not your heart be troubled." How is it even possible when you're in the midst of a storm for your heart not to be troubled? Well, Jesus never said that we would not have trouble. He never promised the absence of storms, but he did promises this, that if we will anchor our confidence in him, we can experience the peace that only he can give in the midst of a storm. Trusting Jesus is the best antidote to the worries and fears that can tear us apart and leave us feeling helpless. And trusting Jesus really is also a way for us to show a doubting world what precious Jesus can do in our lives. You know, we're in the midst of one of the most incredible times in history. This coronavirus pandemic. A lot of people feel like they are caught in the teeth of a storm. What do we do when we're caught in the teeth of a storm? Let me suggest 4 things from my quiet time this morning that I hope will help you, perhaps give you a little peace and a little confidence. Number 1, trust the captain. Remember that Jesus is in the boat with us. We're not sailing alone. So we have the capacity to look to him and to trust him to guide us safely through, to help us navigate troubled waters. Secondly, learn to follow the charge. You know, having the Word of God is one of the most incredible blessings that we have as believers. These are God's charge that help us to navigate through life and navigate troubled waters. So while you have perhaps a little bit more discretionary time that you normally do, make sure that you spend some time in the Word of God, reading and studying and finding encouragement and help. And then another thing, use the radio. I love those survival shows, those rescue shows, and whenever I see one of those rescue at sea kind of shows, one thing that the folks in trouble always do is they pick up the radio and they call the Coast Guard. They call for help. They radio in their position. So we need to use the radio as well. And you know, the radio that we have is prayer. So while you have some discretionary time, use the radio. Get on your knees. Spend time with your family praying about what's happening in our world today and asking God to fill you with the peace that only he is able to give in the midst of life's storms. And then the last thing I would suggest is this: look ahead. Our journey is purposeful. Our voyage is purposeful. God will get us to safe harbor. Let's trust him to get us there. Let's anchor our confidence in him. He'll get us through this storm. I hope that you and your family have a wonderful time connecting together over the coming week or weeks or whatever this pandemic forces us to do in terms of social distancing and things like that. But while we have social distancing, let's allow this to be a time when we close the distance between us and God and deepen our relationship with him. Know that I love you. Know that I'm praying for you. God bless you.